God is the Big Bang. How is truth known?
Uka,
Part 2.
the law of non-contradiction, the law of excluded middle. Although we use these first principles to help us discover truth, they alone cannot tell us whether or not a particular position is true. To see what we mean, consider the following logical argument. Number 1, all men are mortal. Number 2, Spencer is a man. Number 3, therefore Spencer is mortal. The self-evident law of logic tells us that the conclusion, Spencer is mortal, is a valid conclusion. In other words, the conclusion following necessarily from the premise. And if all men are mortal, and if Spencer is a man, then Spencer is mortal. However, the law of logic do not tell us rather of those premises, and thus the conclusion is true. Maybe all men are not mortal. Maybe Spencer is not a man. Logic by itself cannot tell us one way or the other. The point is more easily seen by looking at the valid argument that isn't true. Consider the following. Number 1, all men are four-legged reptiles. Number 2, Zachary is a man. Number 3, therefore Zachary is a four-legged reptile. Logically, this argument is valid, but we all know that it isn't true. The argument is valid because the conclusion follows the premise, but the conclusion is false because the first premise is false. In other words, the argument can be logically sound, but still be false because the premise of the argument do not correspond to reality. Wow.